February 2026, Daily Signal Weekly Briefing. While you were busy living your life, America quietly fell apart. And I'm not talking about the usual political drama. I'm talking about your money disappearing, federal agents killing citizens in the streets, and the government literally seizing ballot boxes. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is what actually happened this week. Let me walk you through it. Your wallet, the Medicare Clawback scam. Let's start with something that hit 65 million Americans right in the wallet. Retirees across the country opened their Social Security statements this month, and what they saw made them furious. Here's what happened. Back in October, the government announced good news, a 2.8% cost of living adjustment for 2026. That's about $56 more per month for the average retiree. Not much, but people thought, okay, at least it's something. Maybe I can buy eggs without crying. Then January came. Medicare Part B premium notice shows up in the mail. The numbers staring back at them, $202.90 per month. That's up from $185, an increase of $17.90. Now let's do the math together. The government gives you $56 with one hand, then immediately takes back $18 with the other hand. Your actual raise, $38 a month. That's $1.27 per day. $1.27. Boston College's Center for Retirement Research did the analysis. This Medicare premium hike eats up more than 25% of the average person's Social Security raise. And if you're a higher income senior, your premium can jump all the way to $689 a month. Independent media outlet Breaking Points calls this what it actually is, a clawback scheme. You get a raise on paper, but after inflation, after medical costs, you're actually poorer than you were last year. And here's the sick irony. Eggs are up 20%, gas is up, rent is up, heating bills are up, but your medication costs just ate your entire raise. This isn't about numbers on a spreadsheet. This is 65 million Americans right now choosing between filling their prescriptions and buying groceries, between heating their homes and eating dinner. The government gives with one hand and robs you with the other. Remember that, because it's going to be a pattern this week. Your safety, when federal agents kill citizens. Now let's talk about something even darker, because while your wallet was getting lighter, people in Minnesota were dying. This is the story that broke the internet this week. Operation Metro Surge. In December, the Trump administration launched what they called the largest immigration enforcement operation in American history. Hundreds of armed, masked federal agents, ICE, Border Patrol, Homeland Security, flooded into Minneapolis and St. Paul. The mission? Round up undocumented immigrants. Fast, brutal, no apologies. But something went very, very wrong January 7th. An ICE agent named Jonathan Ross shoots and kills Renee Good. She was 37 years old, a civilian observer. She wasn't armed, she was just watching, just documenting what was happening. Now she's dead, shot in the head. Then January 24th, Alex Preddy, 37-year-old nurse, works at the VA hospital taking care of veterans. Two federal agents, Border Patrol agent Jesus Ochoa and CBP officer Raimundo Gutierrez, open fire on him. At least 10 shots in 5 seconds. Preddy's on the ground, they keep shooting. He had a gun, legally owned. They took it from him, then they shot him anyway. But wait, it gets worse. A House Oversight Committee report just revealed something horrifying. 1 week before Alex Preddy was killed, he got into a confrontation with federal agents. They broke his rib. Medical records confirm it. 1 week later, they came back and put 10 bullets in him. ProPublica identified the shooters, CBS, NBC, The Guardian, everyone's covering this now. But here's what nobody's talking about. 0 federal agents have been charged. 0 consequences. Meanwhile, 3,000 people have been arrested during Operation Metro Surge. 2 U.S. citizens are dead. And protesters who've been tracking these raids, they're now getting visits at their homes from federal agents. Intimidation, threats. We know where you live. The Marshall Project is documenting this. Democracy Now! Is calling it what it is, the collapse of due process. This isn't immigration enforcement, this is state terror on American soil against American citizens. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called it an occupation. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey demanded the feds leave, but according to the New York Times, hundreds of agents supposedly left this week, yet residents say nothing has changed. The crackdown continues. Your government can kill you with impunity now. That's the lesson from Minnesota. Your vote. The FBI raids election offices. Okay, so they're robbing your wallet and shooting citizens. What's next? Oh right, your vote. Late January 2026, FBI agents armed with a federal search warrant raided the Fulton County Elections Office just outside Atlanta, Georgia. They seized nearly 700 boxes of paper ballots from the 2020 election. They took voter registration rolls, election servers, staff computers, everything. Let that sink in. A sitting president's Justice Department just confiscated the ballots from a state he lost in the last election. Trump's justification? Election integrity. He claims Fulton County committed fraud in 2020. No evidence, no charges filed, just a raid. But it didn't stop there. Trump went on a podcast this week and said Republicans need to take over voting in at least 15 places. He specifically named Philadelphia, Detroit, Milwaukee, and Atlanta, all Democrat-led cities, all cities he lost. NBC News asked him directly, will you accept the 2026 midterm results? His answer, if they're honest. The Atlantic called this, the Trump's DOJ comes for the ballots. Slate said it's the first strike on American democracy. Fulton County officials are now in federal court demanding their ballots back. County Commissioner Rob Pitt said, quote, this is voter suppression disguised as an investigation. Here's the terrifying part. If the federal government can seize your ballots, who counts your votes? If Trump's DOJ controls the voting machines in swing states, who actually decides the election? State and local election officials are bracing for chaos. Stateline reports that officials across the country are now scrambling to figure out how to resist federal takeovers of their election systems. Even some Republican senators are pushing back. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said he's not in favor of federalizing elections. Even he knows this crosses a line. But Trump doesn't care. He's already laying the groundwork to contest the 2026 results before a single vote is cast. Your vote might not matter if the federal government gets to recount it in a warehouse in Virginia.
The money games. AI crashes, Musk gamble.
All right, while all that chaos was happening, Wall Street had its own meltdown. February 2nd and 4th, the AI bubble started popping. Anthropic, one of the biggest AI companies, released a new automation tool that can replace entire categories of white-collar jobs. Investors looked at it and panicked. If AI can do this, whole industries are about to disappear. Software stocks crashed, legal tech tanked, financial services plummeted. In 2 days, $400 billion in market value just evaporated. When you count global ripple effects, we're talking nearly $1 trillion in losses. Forbes called it the SaaS apocalypse. If one AI tool can replace 50 different software subscriptions, why would companies keep paying? Millions of Americans poured retirement savings into AI stocks because Wall Street told them it was the next gold rush. Now, those savings are burning. And speaking of insane bets, Elon Musk just made the biggest one in history. February 2nd, Musk announced SpaceX is acquiring his money-losing AI company xAI in a $1.25 trillion mega merger, the largest corporate merger in U.S. history by valuation. SpaceX was profitable, xAI was bleeding cash. Now Musk is folding that debt into SpaceX to inflate the valuation before a massive IPO later this year. The Wall Street Journal says it's genius vertical integration. Critics call it a house of cards. If this fails, the entire Musk empire could collapse. And if you're betting on Tesla or waiting to buy SpaceX stock, you're not investing in a company. You're betting on one man's ego. The system strikes back. Harvard gets cut. Meanwhile, the culture war claimed another victim. February 6th, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced the Pentagon is cutting all ties with Harvard University. No more military training programs, no more fellowships, no more certificate programs, effective next school year. His reason? Harvard is teaching woke ideology and producing activists, not warriors. Now, here's the actual impact. The Pentagon had been pouring about $180 million in military research projects at Harvard in recent years. That's gone now. And earlier this year, the Trump administration already froze $2.7 billion in total federal research grants to Harvard. Conservative media is celebrating. Fox News called it cleaning house. But tech leaders and university presidents are terrified. Because once you weaponize education funding, knowledge itself becomes a hostage. If you teach the wrong ideas, you lose federal money. If you criticize the administration, your research dies. This is an academic loyalty test, 2026 edition. Rapid fire, the stuff you missed. Oh, and 2 more things happened this week that you need to know about. First, your medication might be fake. Senators Rick Scott and Kirsten Gillibrand introduced the Clear Labels Act on January 29th. It would force pharmaceutical companies to disclose where your drugs actually come from. Why? Because fake drugs and contaminated generics are flooding the U.S. market. MedShadow reports some overseas manufacturers submitted fake lab results to the FDA, facilities that don't even exist. You're trusting your life to pills that might have been made in unregulated factories, and you have no way to know. This bill would require country of origin labels on all prescription drugs. Big Pharma is fighting it hard.
Second, France just raided Twitter. February 3rd, French police stormed the Paris offices of X, formerly Twitter. The charges? Complicity in distributing child sexual abuse material, spreading Holocaust denial, hosting AI-generated deepfake porn through Grok, and failure to moderate illegal content. This was coordinated. France's cybercrime unit, national police, and Europol all involved. French prosecutors also summoned Elon Musk for questioning. The UK launched its own investigation the same day. Musk went to war on X, calling it a global assault on free speech by authoritarian governments. This is the beginning of the global free speech war. Governments versus tech billionaires, regulation versus chaos. And you're caught in the middle. Because whoever wins controls what you can say, see, and share online. So let's recap. Your Social Security raise? Medicare ate it. Federal agents in Minnesota killed 2 citizens, 0 consequences. Your ballots in Georgia? The FBI took them. The AI boom just lost $1 trillion. Elon Musk betting $1.25 trillion he doesn't have. Harvard defunded for teaching the wrong ideas. Your medication might be fake and you can't even tell. And France raiding Twitter offices while Musk screams about free speech. 8 stories, 7 days, 1 pattern. The system isn't broken. The system is working exactly as designed to extract your wealth, control your vote, and silence your voice. They're not even hiding it anymore. This is Daily Signal. See you next week, if we still have a country.